I was reading an article about the shortage of priests in America. And the author said that we need to put that priest shortage in context. That there are many secular vocations that are undergoing a shortage as well in our country. Points out nurses, social workers, people that work with young people, the helping professions are also finding themselves short. And he says that when we look at this vocation crisis in perspective, it helps us to see what is at the heart of our society. That we have a culture of the external marketplace replacing a culture of an inner calling or vocation. He writes about nurses in particular, not having enough people to follow them in that profession. And the author writes, nursing's collapse is a cultural and spiritual one, more a failure of the notion of charity and compassion than the result of failed pay bargaining rounds. A consumerist culture in which you and I live centers upon going to the right schools, making the right connections in order to get the right job that pays big bucks and delivers a lot of status. That's a consumerist culture. A culture of vocation, a culture of being called by God, begins with that notion. God is calling me, and God has equipped me with talents that I can share in order to make a better life, that I have been given a mission in life. There is a reason why I am here, and I have accepted that mission and with God's grace want to complete it. Whether or not I get in result fame and fortune. You see the contrast between those two, a culture of consumerism and a culture of vocation or being called by God. What our consumerist culture sees as success would be things like advancement, lots of money, title, initials after our name, lots of money to be able to be spent in showy consumption, and so forth. That consumerist culture tells us why we have a shortage not only of priests and deacons and religious, but also a shortage of many people in the helping professions, like nurses, like social workers, like workers with youth. This consumerist culture that you and I live in has us as a society not even blushing with shame over hiring an athlete for $250 million to play ball and paying someone who cares for the elderly $9 an hour. Many, many people realize these things. They come to the top of their profession and they say, is this all there is? Is this it? There are people in life who have apparently been successful in the world's eyes and think they have it all, but they are empty, and they feel that emptiness because they lack the 4 C's: care, compassion, charity, and a cause that is bigger than our own egos. Many, many people realize that the void they feel in life cannot be filled by the material. And they look to a sense of calling, a sense of vocation. What they want in life is a calling from God, a vocation from God, and not simply a resume. They know that everything in life costs us something, but because they're committed to their calling and their mission, they gladly pay the price. We see parents sometimes almost fanatical about getting their kids into the right schools. And we see children sometimes almost killing themselves with overwork in order to create a thicker resume for acceptance somewhere, sometime. I ask you today, in light of today's gospel, where Jesus says, whoever follows after me must pick up his own cross, or he can't be my disciple. In light of today's gospel, are we offering care for our children that puts at least as much passion in seeing that they grow up to be moral and visionary and answering a calling and not simply embracing a career? William Willimon has been a student chaplain at Duke University for lots and lots of years, and I've been reading William Willimon for lots and lots of years. And he's reflecting on his work with students at Duke and their parents. And he says he would get calls from time to time from parents saying, "Help, I think my daughter is addicted to alcohol." Or, "Help, I believe my son is getting into promiscuity." But he said, far more than that, scores more than that, are the calls that come in that would say, "Help, I think my daughter is becoming a religious fanatic. I sent her to Duke to go to law school." And William Willimon responds, their definition of religious fanatic probably means she wants to go and be part of a Catholic relief service in Haiti rather than studying law at Duke. What I'm mentioning to you today is really what the gospel is talking about today. You want to be my disciple, you've got to pick up your own cross every day and follow in my footsteps, is what Jesus is telling us. We are members of the family of God. We have been chosen by God to belong to this family. We have been recruited by Jesus Christ to do something, and we've been given a cross. And we've been graced to carry that cross in our living. We have been chosen. You and I have been chosen. And we have been given a mission in life to be accepted and to be fulfilled. And it's a mission which takes us beyond ourselves. It's a mission that is centered in the heart. With all of our talents, with all of our abilities, it's not simply doing things. It's sharing our heart and entering somebody else's heart. We have all been given a call. And answering that call, even if we've buried it, is still urgent. And so the gospel asks us today a couple of very simple questions that only you and I can answer for ourselves. The gospel asks, my call, do you hear it? My call, have you answered it yet?